Wanted to take a moment to bring a brief video to you, Please subscribe, like, comment. What I'm going to talk to you tonight about is a guy named Nick Wallace. He's an organic farmer and founder of 1 Acre, Iowa. And what he's about is soil remediation, trying to get the various insecticides and other kind of chemicals out of the soil to get the soils back to what they should naturally be, in contrast to what they have been becoming. He's one of the things that he talks about, and you can watch the video. I'm going to have it linked below. Is how herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, they don't discriminate. They, one fungus is as good as any. So, and you might have, for example, taken a medication to get rid of the fungus in your body. Well, it gets rid of all kind of things, and your body's got all kind of bacteria and funguses and all kind of things in it that aren't necessarily bad. Just the whole of our environment does. Things that don't bother you, and also some things that actually help you. Obviously, there's bacteria in your gut that is essential for digestion, that we tend to kill off. You take antibiotics, you wipe out all of the bacteria in your gut, and then you have a problem, maybe going to the bathroom for a while or stuff like that, right? So anyway, he works on soil remediation, and he's sort of he's a consultant in that, I believe, and everything to bring about healthy soil. And with healthy soil, since that's where our nutrients come from, our nutrients just don't appear in a leaf. They come up from the ground into the leaf, right? Into the fruit. And then they have to come from somewhere. They don't, maybe some might be absorbed through the air, but basically they're coming through the plant. So that's what he's about. And you can listen to what he has to say. One of the things, and I think that he himself had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I don't remember now, because I watched the thing a few days ago, and I'm just now getting around to doing this video. So he talks about, if I believe, both Roundup and atrazine, which is Roundup is what is that? Glyphosate? Yeah. Roundup is glyphosate. This is a huge issue. You can find plenty of information about glyphosates in your body. There's all kind of people, all kind of doctors. This is the big issue. Bayer, our aspirin company, who actually makes a lot of other kind of chemicals, and as you know, came out of World War II. He was Bayer was a big chemical company back then, or was it World War One? Or both. Check it out, somewhere back there. But during the war, I know that. Anyway, and of course, once we get rid of wars, we got to find a peaceful way to make a living. So let's find some other things to do with chemicals. Most of our chemicals, not all of them, but many of them are made from derivatives of petroleum and whatnot. And would you drink a quart of oil? I don't think so. Would you inject it in your body? No, I don't think so. Well, I know that these chemicals are something. They're derivatives of these other natural things like petroleum, if you want to call it that. But they're not something that the human body normally digests, ingests, and neither do animals. In fact, it was interesting today. I just a moment ago, I was, I was working and listening to videos, as I do, and a video by Chuck Norris came up, the famous Chuck Norris. And and it went on, and I finally turned off of it as I finally realized, oh, I'm listening to a commercial. And I never got to whatever product he has, I don't know, but what he talked about was how his dogs were getting sick, and he loved his dogs, and he wanted to do something to help his dogs, and he started looking to what to do to help, and so the whole video is about how, look, your dogs are always, they're a smaller body than you are. You might take in some chemical that but you're twice as big as your dog, and the chemical may not affect you, but it may affect the dog. The chemicals that are in our food that come all the way through the system, especially in dog food, or what maybe they're not being as careful about some of these chemicals with the dog food, or other kind of livestock food or whatever. And so he's talking about how the dog lays in the yard and walks in the yard and licks his paws and licks all kind of stuff in the yard. That's what dogs do. Yeah, and I just thought about my own dogs, which we basically let outside for most of their day, and how much they might have picked up. Because what was I doing back then? I was spraying if there's a weed in my yard, I was out there spraying it with Roundup, glyphosate. Did my dogs lick that stuff up? Is that something that killed my dogs before their time? They lived a pretty good long life, but Chuck Norris was just pointing out how long dogs, and you can look this up yourself, dogs are not living as long as they did like 30 years ago or something like that, significantly, 5 years shorter, something like that. It's really sort of sad. They're another kind of animal ingesting and taking in these chemicals. Now, I stopped using Roundup because I learned that Roundup is a systemic, and this is why I did use it. It's a systemic herbicide. What that means is it gets into the plant and it goes all the way down to the roots and it kills the roots, supposedly. That's the story. But what I found out as time went by is that, okay, it kills the roots, the plant dies, and then that chemical is held in the roots, which are now in the soil. So your soil, we're always trying to get organic matter in the soil, and it's great to have, in fact, that's why you will turn over fields and things like that, to turn under the organic matter of the dead plants, turn them under, and that gets into the soil, and that's organic matter in your soil. Well, but if the plant is holding the Roundup, the glyphosate, then it's there for a long time. And one of the things that I don't know that it's true, but I have come to the assumption, the theory, that my grass has not been doing very well, and I think it may have something to do with the fact that I continually would go out there and spray herbicides, Roundup, on the weeds, trying to get the weeds out of the way so that the grass could grow. And now I've just got these big patches of weeds and dirt, because there's some weeds that will take chemicals better than others. Dandelions, for example. So if you have a lot of dandelions in your yard, it may well be that it is likely because your soil is really bad off and other things won't grow there. Now, okay, so you can grow a lot of dandelions and you can have dandelion salad. I thought about that, but I'm not going to go eat that dandelion salad from the dandelions in my yard, where in the areas that I sprayed Roundup in, right? That wouldn't be too smart. So be smart about your dandelion salad. But anyway, so you have this issue, and he talks about it in depth. Nick Wallace does. And his claim is that, and some claim that both glyphosates and atrazine are related to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And atrazine is what is used significantly. Well, it's used in all kind of crops and things, but in my own profession and things that I deal with as a landscape architect, it's used for St. Augustine in particular, St. Augustine sod. So there's my dogs out there wallowing in St. Augustine grass, lawn, and people are spraying, because the chinch bug eats up St. Augustine. You got to spray it like crazy several times a year. So people are probably killing their animals all over the place, possibly. We have to think about that. Now, I use very few chemicals on my yard. I have lawn guys come up, and then I may have somebody help me. I had a guy just here recently help me by doing some, sort of heavier yard work for me. And, he was, hey, you want me to do this? I can spray your yard with this and get rid of that and get rid of these weeds. And I'm saying, so what is your product? Oh, this is so-and-so, so-and-so. Is it Roundup? No, it's not Roundup. So what's the active ingredient in it? Glyphosate. I said, no way. And I explained to him, this is why I don't spray my yard. God made all these creatures. So, if you're a roach, don't come into my house, right? Or a spider. Stay out of my house. Lizards come to my house, and I have to pick them up, throw them out. Sometimes I can't get them. So lizards come to my house, and unfortunately, I spray my house for, in different corners and things like that, just like the pest control guys do. I spray the corners and things like that because I'm trying to kill off any roaches or spiders who come into my house. And that means that a poor little lizard who decides that I have a good place for him to hide out, he sometimes meets his demise. The point here is that we ingest, sometimes it soaks through our skin. I once was spraying wasp, had a wasp nest, and I went to spray it, and it was a windy day. Do not spray on a windy day. It was a windy day, and this stuff got all over me. And I didn't think too much about it, but an hour later, I was like laying on my couch, like shaking with a fever. So, and I realized, oh my gosh, I went and take a shower, made sure I got that stuff off of me. But so there's some things that do come through your skin. Now, atrazine, they say is something that you can inhale. So the dogs rolling in the yard with the atrazine, that might not be a problem, except they're probably licking their paws and licking their coat and stuff like that, and then they're ingesting it that way. So anyway, these are things to think about as far as keeping yourself healthy, keeping your environment healthy, for yourself and for others. This is from my worldview. This is a creation that is my responsibility to take care of, and not just use it. Yes, I have dominion over it, but it's not for me just to use abusively. Nothing is to be used abusively. So that means I need to watch out about what kind of chemicals and things like that I'm spraying around my house, and what kind of chemicals I'm eating from products that are come to me through the grocery store and whatnot. And you might want to watch this with Nick Wallace and find out a little bit more about it yourself. Have a good day.